In today's video, I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to tell you everything I hate about Philadelphia after living here for about 20 years. If you're new to my channel, you may not know that I'm a local Philadelphia realtor and regularly work with clients relocating to the area for work, school, or to get a change of pace and more excitement in their life. So my channel usually talks about the positives of Philly. However, today I'm going to give you my real, honest, and raw opinion on Philadelphia. And I'm not going to counter the negatives with any positives in this video or try to sugarcoat anything. Philly does have a lot going on for sure, but I'll let you check out my other videos to learn more about the benefits of living in Philly. And if you do want to learn more about Philly and the benefits and my other videos, of course, tap that subscribe button below so that you are continually notified about those particular videos. I've been in the city since about 2004 when I started at Drexel University over in University City. I know I look like I'm 25, but I'm actually 38 and have been here for about 20 years. I'm married and have 2 kids and have lived in University City, West Philly, South Philly, and basically all around Rittenhouse. So that's my experience. Let's get into it. What I hate about the city after 20 years. Well, the first thing that I don't like, and neither does my wife, is the pollution here. Every major city has pollution, of course, but Philly's no different. We've got the pollution here. It's not the best air quality. It's not the best experience of life. It's, of course, not the best for our health, probably. It's something you got to deal with living in the city. We had our second child in 2019, and we lived in a second floor condo right around 22nd Chestnut area. And there would often be 18-wheeler trucks just kind of idling outside. And that smog and whatnot would come into our kid's bedroom while he was just learning to breathe. Not the best experience of life, of course. So pollution, not super stellar. Of course, the city is probably doing some stuff, and over time, if everyone's driving a Tesla, that'd be great in the future. But that's not the experience now. It's not the reality. So pollution, not stellar, don't love it, would prefer not to have it. Something we hate about Philly. The second thing I hate about Philadelphia is the parking. Parking sucks here. It probably sucks in lots of other cities, but I'm thinking about Philly. I don't live in New York City. I don't live in other cities. I live in Philly. Parking is not that great here. It's difficult. It's tricky. It's either expensive, you gotta pay $350, $450, $500 a month for a spot in a garage, or you buy a townhome that has a garage in it. That's gonna be a lot more money, of course. Or you deal with street parking. So if you deal with street parking, you get a permit here, or if you don't have a permit, it's still gonna be relatively annoying. And if you're in Center City in particular, the PPA, the Philadelphia Parking Authority, the authority that enforces meters, time limits, things like that, will ticket you out the wazoo. You're gonna get lots of tickets and pay, it depends how much you drive, but easily pay $500 to $1,000 of tickets per year if you get a lot of tickets. It's so bad in the city that there were actually 7 seasons of an episode of a series called The Parking Wars, all about the Philadelphia Parking Authority. So they're pretty intense. They will get you. My first ticket back in, I think, 2005 or 6, when I was a college student, was a $300, so this is back then, I don't know what it is now because I haven't done it since, was a $300 parking ticket for parking temporarily with my hazards on in a wheelchair spot. So if you move here, do not do that. It's going to be an expensive ticket. Thankfully, I did fight it. I had a couple other tickets on my record at the time, and they decided to drop the $300 one in exchange for paying the others. So thankfully, I didn't have to pay the $300 ticket. But yeah, suffice it to say, parking in Philly is dicey, and it's not for the faint of heart. Of course, if you want to pay $500 a month for a parking spot, it's totally fine, and it's easier. It just depends. If you do need parking, there's a number of condo buildings that I would recommend that are really stellar options that come with parking. It's definitely a better choice than street parking and some of the other options. But again, parking is not cheap or for the faint of heart. The third thing I hate about Philadelphia is not having a backyard, or at least not having a backyard with actual grass. So as you probably know, most cities don't have backyards, at least not many in Philadelphia. And if they do, it's going to be a concrete jungle backyard. So basically cement. You can put some planters and flowers and whatnot, but it's not going to be a real backyard with grass. Certainly not an area that you could have your kids run around or play much in. So I miss backyards. I miss what I experienced growing up in a suburb in northern Jersey. Great location, a great experience in my childhood. And I do miss that. I miss barbecuing in the backyard. And of course, people have barbecues. I had a barbecue in a number of homes in the city as well. So you can do that. It's just not the same experience. So that's one thing that we don't like that much about Philly. And real quick, before we talk about my next thing that I don't like about Philly, as much as I love making these videos, I do love helping people relocate to the Philly area even more, as much as this video is a downer in Philly. It's just, again, real, open, honest, and raw. And if you're like most of my clients and are confused about where to live in the city, about the safety of a particular neighborhood, or honestly, even if the city is right for you to begin with, I totally understand where you're coming from. You are not alone. Most of my clients were in your shoes until they reached out to me for advice. So just shoot me a quick email and let me know what you're hoping to accomplish, and I would love to help you out on your journey. I'm always working with someone like you who is looking to relocate to the city and change their lifestyle, change their pace of life and enjoyment of life. So just shoot me a quick email to chris@meetchris.com to connect with me. And the last thing that I hate about Philly, and I can almost guarantee this is pretty much on no one's list that's also producing content about Philadelphia, is that Philly workers are lazy. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you go to a fast food restaurant, McDonald's, or a coffee shop like Dunkin' Donuts, or a quick service food place like Chipotle, or a restaurant that's not high-end, just a basic restaurant like Chili's or Hard Rock Cafe or something like that, that's not going to be a high-end establishment. If you go to any of those establishments, you're going to find people that are just really lazy, that people don't seem to want to be there, don't seem to want to work, and that you just get really terrible service. I've been to Chipotle in like probably every state in America. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I've eaten my fair share at Chipotle. And by far, the worst experiences I've ever had have unfortunately been right here in Philadelphia. Not just one place, all over the city. It's just been my consistent experience at Chipotle, going to Dunkin' Donuts, just different places like that. Again, typically more of a lower end place, or Chipotle's not low end, but it's not, like $60 a night meal, obviously. So if we're gonna go to a nice place in the city, like the Capitol Grill or Steak 48 or Alpenrose Steakhouse or Park in Rittenhouse, nicer restaurants like that, or the Dandelion, or a number of other places that are great in the city, you'll probably get good service because they're gonna charge a lot more and they're gonna probably pay more for their staff, but they also just run a better business there. And they get people that are more motivated to work. But if you go to other places that, again, like a lot of people like Chipotle, it's pretty popular, or Dunkin' Donuts, you're just not gonna get great service rather, in my experience in this city. So that's one thing I dislike about the city. I don't know if this is honestly prevalent in other cities. I haven't lived regularly in like a city like New York or Boston. I'd love to get your take on it if you're coming from another city. Even if you haven't lived in Philly, I'd be curious what your experience is with servers or staff or employees at these types of establishments. That if you have really terrible service, I'd be curious. I would wager guess that Philly is probably worse for a variety of reasons that I'm not going to talk about in this video. But I just think the Philly culture here, in particular in the last 4 years since COVID, has just gotten worse. And some of the work staff has unfortunately downgraded over time. Hopefully with the new things the mayor's doing, they can change these things around, but it's been our experience. It's one of the things that we hate about Philly. Again, let me know in the comments below. Love to hear your take and your experience, whether it's in Philly or in another city or wherever. I'm not talking about the suburbs. Every experience I've had at Chipotle, all those places in the suburbs have essentially been stellar. Of course, you can have one-off events everywhere, but the suburbs have generally been a much better experience. If you want to check out 7 reasons why people actually move here and why I live in Philadelphia, click this video right here. Sit back, relax, enjoy.